6 months after the assassination attempt, a black and white photo of him was published. It shows a man seemingly smiling on the outside, but screaming inside, saying, "I'm still alive." A man hated by a mob of mindless Neanderthals and a victim of religious bigotry. But why was he hated so much? What secrets did he reveal about the Prophet of Islam that enraged mullahs and their followers? In this video, we uncover the mystery that Salman Rushdie exposed about the dark history of Islam. Stay tuned, because it's coming up. He raised his eyebrows like before, and a thin smile appeared on his lips, as if mocking his enemy. The owner of this smile and meaningful look is Salman Rushdie, the well-known Indian author who merely for his writing spent nearly 4 decades of his life in fear of death. Perhaps by now, fear of death no longer means anything to him. The man who was declared an apostate by many mullahs, with his killing mandated for Muslims. Salman Rushdie published the novel The Satanic Verses in England in 1988. This work is considered a semi-masterpiece of world literature, winning awards and recognitions. However, after its publication, protests erupted in Islamic countries, particularly in India and Pakistan. In October 1988, a month after the publication, letters and phone calls from angry Muslims reached Viking Penguin, the publishing company, demanding the book's retraction. By the end of the month, the book was banned in India, though possession of it was not a crime. By November 1988, it was banned in Bangladesh, Sudan, South Africa, and Sri Lanka. After the book was banned in India, Rushdie appealed for the ban to be lifted, urging freedom lovers worldwide not to allow him to live in hiding and fear. He emphasized that any civilized society should permit the publication of his book. But Khomeini's fatwa concerning Salman Rushdie was a different and daredevil move. Khomeini issued his historic fatwa regarding Rushdie's apostasy on February 1989, 4 months after the book's publication. A foundation under his supervision also offered a $3.3 million reward for Rushdie's killer in the same year. Interestingly, the fatwa was not limited to Rushdie alone. It also extended to all the editors and publishers of the novel who were aware of its contents. This led to multiple violent attacks on people who were targeted around the world, with direct and indirect links to the fatwa. As of now, this decree remains in effect, as Iran's current leader, Khomeini, reiterated in 2005 that the fatwa is irreversible. The first person who attempted to kill Rushdie was Mustafa Mahmoud Mazeh, a Lebanese-born French citizen who located Rushdie in a hotel in London about 6 months after the fatwa was issued. Mazeh wore an explosive belt, but it detonated prematurely due to the heat, killing him before reaching Rushdie's room. After this incident, Britain cut diplomatic ties with Iran, which were only restored 10 years later when Iran pledged not to pursue Rushdie's assassination. British Airways banned Rushdie from its flights until 1998, and Air Canada also imposed security restrictions on him. In 1991, Hitoshi Igarashi, the Japanese translator of the Satanic Verses, was murdered at his university in Tsukuba, Ibaraki. The Italian translator was attacked in Milan, and in 1993, Norwegian publisher William Nygaard was severely injured in an assassination attempt. 37 people died in a fire set at a Turkish hotel hosting Aziz Nesin, a translator of parts of the book, in 1993. In 2022, Salman Rushdie made headlines again, 35 years after Khomeini's fatwa, when he was attacked by an extremist Muslim. On Friday, August 12, 2022, he was attacked with a knife before he could start his speech at the Chautauqua Institution in western New York. The New York State Police identified the attacker as a 24-year-old Hadi Matar. Hadi Matar, whose parents were Lebanese immigrants from the village of Yaroun, a Hezbollah-controlled area, was born in California and lived in New Jersey. The district attorney announced that Hadi Matar had stabbed Salman Rushdie 10 times but was charged with a second-degree murder and second-degree assault. After the attack, Rushdie was immediately taken to the hospital and underwent surgery. He survived this dangerous incident but lost an eye, and it is said that the nerves in his left hand were damaged. This 76-year-old author gave his first interview to the New Yorker 6 months after the attack. He called his attacker a fool, but said he harbored no feelings of revenge or anger towards him. Rushdie emphasized in this interview that he is grateful for the support he received from people after the attack and that his outlook is focused on the future. The Satanic Verses is Rushdie's fourth novel and is inspired by the life of Muhammad. Unlike his previous books, Rushdie uses magical realism, drawing on contemporary events and people to create his characters. The title refers to a group of satanic verses about the pagan idols of Mecca, Allat, Al-Uzza, and Manat. The first part of the book contains elements considered most offensive by Muslims, presenting an altered version of Muhammad's life, named Mahwand in the novel, in a city called Jahiliyyah. According to this chronicle, also called Al-Gharaniq incident, which is said to have occurred during the time when Muhammad was receiving revelations, he was allegedly influenced by Satan while reciting verses from Surah An-Najm and accepted the sanctity of the three mentioned idols of Mecca as daughters of Allah. After reciting these verses, not only the Prophet and Muslims, but even the polytheists performed prostration. The reason for the polytheist prostration was that Muhammad had praised their important idols in these verses. Later that night, the Archangel Gabriel revealed to Muhammad that these verses were not divine revelation, but the influence of Satan, and were not part of the Quran. But what might be more shocking to Muslims in this part of the novel is the depiction of a scene from a brothel called Hijab, where some of the prostitutes bear the names of Muhammad's wives. The second part of the story depicts Aisha, an Indian peasant who claims to receive revelations from Gabriel, leading her villagers on a pilgrimage to Mecca. The third part portrays an exiled, regressive religious leader named the Imam, an apparent hint at Khomeini's exile in Paris, while also relating back to the protagonist's prophetic character. Renowned historians such as Tabari, Ibn Sa'd, and Al-Waqidi have narrated this incident. Prominent Islamic scholars and Orientalists like William Montgomery Watt and Tudor Parfitt have also considered the incident of the Satanic Verses to be authentic and credible. All Salman Rushdie did was to integrate this account into his novel and to bring back a forgotten chronicle to the memories of Muslims. Are you tired of the divisions fueled by nationalism and religious bigotry? If you are yearning for a world that embraces unity and peace, consider supporting our channel by buying us a coffee. As this channel dares to question sensitive but problematic issues, it may never get monetized. Your contribution empowers us to challenge prejudice, bridge gaps, and promote understanding. Rushdie has stated that his novel has an imaginary structure and that he tried to express his own interpretation of the phenomenon of revelation and the emergence of one of the world's major religions. This interpretation is from a non-religious individual whose entire life has been profoundly influenced by Islamic culture. Salman Rushdie, addressing Muslims in one of his writings, says, "You believe that Satan exists and that Satan's duty is to deceive and mislead humans. How do you know that Satan hasn't deceived the prophets and presented himself as God? After thousands of years, we see that in the name of religion, people are killing, stoning, and the entire earth is engulfed in war and hatred. If God wanted to guide humans, he could have brought peace and tranquility simply by sending one guy to earth. Truly, aren't these words of Satan for discord and destruction? Fight in the way of God, and if they do not turn to your religion, kill them and take their women as war captives. Behead anyone who is not with God and cut off the fingers. Cut off their hands and feet on opposite sides. Punish disobedient women by beating them, and if they commit adultery, bury them in the ground and stone them until they die. If you Muslims say that rational thinking is necessary, and if doubt is a requirement for rationality, then why don't you doubt? Do you know why you don't doubt? Because Satan in his book, the Quran, has said that doubt in religion is a major sin. To understand the Gharaniq incident, how and why it happened, we need to delve into its historical context. Hey, by the way, if you guys liked what you heard so far, please support us by liking and sharing this video. This will also help more people to receive this awareness and help you to get suggested more similar videos on YouTube. Especially, I ask you for a favor to like the video because so many radical Muslims often attack this channel by disliking its videos to prevent YouTube from spreading its clips. It's undeniable that the acceptance of three idols contradicts the fundamental Islamic principle of the oneness and absoluteness of Allah. However, this incident occurred during a period of persecution imposed on Muslims in Mecca. Muhammad faced significant challenges in spreading Islam among his kinsmen and neighbors. Muslims were grappling with socio-political issues, including the opposition from the Quraysh, the dominant tribe in Mecca known for their polytheistic beliefs. Meccan society was deeply entrenched in idol worship, and Muhammad's mission faced resistance from those who clung to their traditional gods. Given this context, if we consider that Satan is not a literal separate entity roaming freely around the whole world to deceive people, we can interpret Muhammad's action as a strategic political move with short-term goals. The immediate goal was to alleviate the persecution by the dominant polytheist elite of Mecca, thereby gaining some time and space just before the eventual migration to Medina. This analysis gains more traction when we consider the timing of a secret meeting between Muhammad and the leaders of the Aus and Khazraj tribes. This meeting, which paved the way for Muhammad's and Meccan Muslims' migration to Medina just before the Gharaniq incident. Therefore, it seems plausible that Muhammad was attempting to buy time and reduce the oppressive situation for Muslims in Mecca just before their migration to Medina. This perspective, supported by the analysis of English Rumi, suggests that Muhammad was acting more as a politician than a canonized saintly prophet. But why did he later claim that these verses were inspired by Satan? It is likely that after consulting with his closest advisors or reflecting deeply on his actions, he realized that these verses could undermine the core doctrine of his message, which is the oneness of Allah. In fact, Muhammad had a few genius advisors around him who had experience serving in the palaces of the most powerful empires of the time, such as the Persian Empire. If you want to know more about one of these secret advisors of Muhammad, watch this series on our channel. Politicians often say things they don't fully believe in or later retract their statements by offering explanations that seem logical to the general public. Muhammad's retraction of the verses could be seen as a tactical move to maintain the integrity of his religious teachings while navigating the complex socio-political landscape of his time. Another aspect of Muhammad's rationale could have been to set an exemplary practice for his followers by declaring that actions contrary to the main narrative of Islam are induced by Satan. He was emphasizing the importance of immediately retracting or resisting such actions. This approach would help build a community of followers who would faithfully adhere to his doctrine, reinforcing their obedience and commitment to Islam. Before you swipe away, you may want to hear the shocking speech of Khomeini's son about the order of killing Salman Rushdie. His speech was done in presence of secret agents and IRGC officers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till later, peace.
شما میدونید اگر سلمان رشدی رو بکشید از 100 سال کار فرهنگی اثرش بیشتر هست. وزارت اطلاعات باید به امام جواب بده. سپاه پاسداران انقلاب اسلامی، شما پاسدار انقلاب اسلامی هستید، به پیغمبرتون حمله شده، نشستید اینجا که بهتون اجازه بدن برید خارج یا نه؟ برید کتاب فروها رو منفجر کنید. شماها وقتی میگفتن که ما چند نفر میخواییم رو مین بره، شهید میخواییم بشن، شما یه مرتبه همه با هم میمدید جلو. خب شما راه بیفتید، کتابخونه ها رو آتیش بزنید، سفارتخونه ها رو آتیش بزنید، خودتون هم ممکنه صدمه ببینید. مگه در جنگ خودتون صدمه نمیدیدید؟ حالا شما 300-400 نفر شهید بشید، ببینید میتونید اینو بکشید، میتونید اروپا رو به هم بزنید یا نه؟ شما اگر بخواهید انقلابتون در دنیا به عنوان مرکز ثقل تمامی ایمانهای دنیا باشه، مرکز ثقل تمامی انقلابهای دنیا باشه، باید این رو بکشید.